Breaking news first in Melbourne on what could be the first potential case of coronavirus in an Australian prison. Straight to today's Isabella Stashkovsky at Melbourne Assessment Prison. Isabella, what can you tell us?
Well, Tracy, I've just been told by a source that today is the day where staff here will be finding out whether an inmate who was tested for coronavirus, in fact, does have the virus. Now, these sources have been telling me that talks have been underway for a number of days and that staff here are quite nervous of what could be to come. The prison here has gone into lockdown. This all unfolded on Sunday, of course, and accumulating until today. Now, this is where a lot of high-profile criminals have stayed, including George Pell. We are waiting for comment from the Melbourne Assessment Prison, and when we get an update, Tracy, we'll be bringing that to you.
Isabella, thank you. Now to political reporter Jonathan Kersley in Canberra. Jono, what exactly will Scott Morrison announce today?
A $2.4 billion medical response package, Tracy. There will be 100 so-called pop-up clinics. Each would have the capacity to see 75 patients a day over 6 months. Do the maths, that's 1.3 million people who could have coronavirus. There's also money so people concerned they may have the virus can be bulk billed and have those appointments done with doctors over Skype, FaceTime and WhatsApp. There will also be a much broader community campaign that is designed to ease concern, ease the panic among the people as this virus continues to spread.
Jono, thank you. Let's take a quick look at the latest on the spread of the virus now. 6 new cases have emerged in New South Wales, with 61 in total, which is more than half of all cases across the country. And more than 9,000 people there have been investigated and cleared as false alarms. In the past 24 hours, an extra 3 cases in both Queensland and Victoria also confirmed. Now to the Gold Coast, our reporter Nick Kelly. Nick, a university has been forced to close its doors due to coronavirus.
Yes, that's right, Tracy. You can probably see behind me here, security have got the gates of the Southern Cross campus blocked off here at Bullingwa on the Southern Gold Coast. That's because they've taken the extraordinary measure of closing the doors of this campus and also the one in Lismore across the border in northern New South Wales. The reason for that is a thorough, top-to-bottom clean as a precaution after an international staff member tested positive for coronavirus yesterday. Now, we understand at this stage that approximately 45 people may have come into close contact with the man. He was here giving lectures and workshops throughout last week, returning home to the Philippines on Sunday. He then felt unwell and tested positive for the virus yesterday. Now, Tracy, the university says that as soon as they knew, they did alert health authorities, and they're also in the process of trying to get into contact with those 45 people who may be at risk.
Nick Kelly on the Gold Coast, thank you. Now to Adelaide and Nine's and Natasha Kramer, where a drive-through coronavirus testing service is open. Natasha, this is the first Australian service of its kind.
It certainly is, Tracy, and what it does is it allows people with potential coronavirus to not have to leave their car to be tested. Nurses will approach the driver's side window, the patient will wind down their window, and then a swab will be taken from their throat and from their nose, and that sample will be sent off to the lab to be tested. Now, this clinic was set up because we did have specialised clinics at our major hospitals in the city, but they've seen a major influx. So to try and ease that surge, they've set up this drive-through clinic, and the government hasn't ruled out opening another. But to visit this clinic, you will need a doctor's referral, and people are being reminded that if you have been in contact with someone overseas or someone affected by the coronavirus, then to get tested. Otherwise, it shouldn't be a concern. Tracy?
Natasha, thank you. I want to bring in now Nine's Alex Heinke, who's at Brisbane Airport. Alex, we've seen Qantas slash its international services. Are other carriers expected to do the same?
Well, Tracy, it's kind of becoming a matter of when, not if. Right now, Virgin will not be scaling back its operations, but some European carriers have done so. They followed Qantas' footsteps. Really, they have scaled back 25% of their operations. It will be grounding 38 planes for the next 6 months. Tracy, the flights impacted are both domestic and international. Jetstar and Qantas scaling back domestically, but those main international flights that will be restricted, Tracy, to Asia, to the UK and to the US as well.
All right, Alex Heinke, thank you. Overseas and US markets are in a wild swing this morning after a historic plummet. The Dow managed to bounce back by 800 points after the opening bell before dropping. Meantime, 4 Australians on board the Grand Princess cruise ship, now docked in California, will begin 14 days in quarantine before heading home. It comes as Italy endures one of its darkest days, with the country's coronavirus death toll rising to 631 despite the nationwide lockdown.